UFC Fight Night, Whittaker, Aliskerov. I'm calling this the cheeseburger night. We'll get to why in one of these fights, but we have two guys that have been eating way too much before their fights. But we'll get right into it. Welcome to the breakdown, guys. I'm Andy. That's Jim. Let's get right into it, and we'll start off with. Let's start off with a fight I want nothing to do with. Long Xiao and Chang Li. I really have no earth-shattering information or picks on this fight. They're both coming off of, Road to UFC. Traditionally, those guys spell unders, but they're fighting each other. I honestly have no opinion. I have nothing more to add to this one. You?
Same thing. I mean, fight doesn't go the distance at plus 170, but not making my card at all.
Yeah.
But that's the only way you play the road to UFC, guys, is unders. Not unproven, fraudulent records. It just goes on and on.
If I have to make a pick for video purposes, like if there's someone out there that's like, I'm going to keep this guy's record, I'll go Long Xiao. I think his takedowns are a bit stronger. Speed advantage with Chang Li. Odds are right on this fight. We move on. Magomed, Gadzhiyasulov, and Brendson, Ribeiro. So my memory of Magomed is that on Contender Series, I believe two Magomeds fought on that, and everyone was like, do the Magomed parlay, which was like the most obvious parlay in all of Contender Series history, and both of them did not look that great.
Not at all.
I think one of the things is, well, there's a couple of things that's going on. First off, anybody that's named Magomed and whose last name ends with OV, high expectations. I think they're kind of a prisoner of that. And so he was okay on there, but wasn't the explosive, fighter that we had thought maybe we were going to see. Wasn't big knockout power, big submissions, or, anything like that. The other thing we noticed was, okay, he's 8-0 and he's 30 years old, just now making it to Contender Series. So how high of a ceiling could this guy have? And then we've got some real, I'm not going to call Magomed a fraud, but he does have some fights that are complete frauds. Mm-hmm. So on the flip side, you got Brendson Ribeiro, who is kill or be killed in the first round. Just round one. On Monday, I talked about taking this one to go over 1.5 because I was like, maybe Magomed would put him up against the fence and clinch. And just over the course of the week, I've just decided that's a really bad idea. That's a bad bet. There is absolutely no reason to make that bet whatsoever. You're just asking for trouble. So I can't get to the window on anything because Magomed's skills should be much better than Ribeiro, but Ribeiro's always live, to clock somebody in the first round. So I think it's going to be kind of an intriguing fight to watch. I think anything's possible. You can tell me Magomed wins by sub or knockout. Tell me he wins by decision. You can tell me Ribeiro wins by knockout. I can't bet this fight, but the odds certainly say that Magomed should win this one. What's your take?
You're going to hear a lot of this for this card for me because I personally do not like this card, and I'm looking for very safe parlay pieces that I can put 2-3 pieces together and try to get a playable line because I really don't like any of these fighters on this card. To me, none of them are bet-ons. I think Ribeiro just lends to being an under. He's a fighter that's going to cause fireworks. He's been super hyped up all week, yelling everywhere he goes, pounding his chest. I don't think we're going to see anything different from him in this fight. I think he's going to come out like a bat out of hell, and it's going to go a flash knockout for him, or he's going to spend it in the first round and not have much in the second. So the only thing that I would play on this fight would be fight does not start round 3 at minus 400. I think that's a good parlay piece. If this fight is going to end, it's not going to start round 3. There's no point in taking fight doesn't go the distance at 750. So save yourself, some juice there in a parlay. But I do believe that Magomed is a fake Ov, not a real Ov. And Ribeiro, I still don't know if this guy's even UFC caliber. It's really a low quality fight, and I don't want to side in that one.
Gafurov and Kang coming to you first. What's your take on this one?
I have always liked Kang. I really have. He's got a good skill set. He just kind of seems like he makes one or two mistakes a fight that just cost him the position or the fight or the round. He just makes those mistakes. I wonder if those mistakes are going to be not as evident against Gafurov. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I am not betting this fight. I like Kang, especially at the plus 130. That's what makes me like him more than anything. I think he'll have the advantage on the feet, much crisper striking. He's no slouch in the grappling. And I have questions about Gafurov in round 3. I mean, we've seen Kang go 3 rounds. He's not a constant pressure kind of guy. But that's where I would play it, man. Big size advantage for Kang as well. I like seeing that. The other thing is this is in Saudi Arabia. We don't know what the temperature is going to be. I forget what card this was, where they had a card over there, and it was like 97 degrees.
Blistering hot.
Yeah.
The arena. Guys were
everybody
sweating
was dying.
as their names were being announced in the ring.
Yes. It was rough. So I want to see what happens there. I want to see this fight card start before I put my money on this fight.
Either I'm completely wrong or the books are completely wrong, because I think the line should be flipped. I don't understand Gafurov being a minus 155 favorite against anybody, let alone Kang. This guy, come on, this guy's in a contender series in 2 UFC fights. He's 0-3. Yeah. Guy that got booted from 1 championship. I don't understand it. I don't think he's very good. I think he gasses. I think he's going to try and wrestle, but on the feet, it's no contest. Kang's taller, longer. The jabs, the kicks are going to be there, and I think Gafurov gasses himself trying to break through the length and the distance of Kang. I think Kang I think he cruises to a decision win. Gafurov will probably get a takedown or 2. I don't think he can do anything with it. And we've seen judges if you can't do anything with it, that's a penalty. I mean, that's what we are one step away from an eye gouge and a groin strike meaning nothing, and a takedown without doing anything costing you a point. We're doing a takedown and not doing anything with it is -1. But fence grabs, the ref just screams in your face. Which is still my favorite, is fence grab. Don't grab the fence. They know you can't grab the fence. Stop yelling at them. They know they already know this. So anyway, I think it's Kang. I was stunned. I was stunned that Kang is the plus money favorite in this one. So if you're looking, that's my favorite underdog on this card. I still can't believe that I can't believe the line is still staying here. How is not everybody on?
Doesn't that raise a red flag though as well? Is that a somebody knows something spot?
Maybe. I think it's probably because let's face it, not the sexiest fight, in the world. But
what's the plus 3.5 if you have that line? If you have that line,
plus 3.5 is minus 165.
That's
there's your play.
If you're nervous about the line, there you go.
Gafurov's not finishing anybody in the UFC. He's not finishing Kang. So yeah, and like you said, 3rd round, it's Kang all day. So yeah, maybe that's the way to go. I think that Kang wins this one. So Rinat, Fakhretdinov, and Nicolas Dalby coming to you. Do you think we see kind of almost similar game plans? Two guys try to clinch, wrestle, take it out, just kind of a slugfest at times on the feet. What do you think?
Is this the Twitter civil war? Is this the polarizing side fight on this card?
Is it?
It seems like it. People are terrified of Dalby because he always wins as a dog and ekes out these fights, and everybody just bet Rinat when he got finished in the 3rd. Hey, what do you do with this? Yeah. Is Rinat going to be more controlled and hang in there? What's going to happen?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And if you're talking about Zaleski, he actually didn't get finished, but what they did was they gave him the
10-8,
fraud, the horrific 10-8 when they didn't give Rinat the 10-8 in the first. But it's funny. I had the same recollection that he lost it, and it felt like the judges gave it to him, but instead they gave him the 10-8. So anyway, I don't know. I mean, Rinat's minus 355, which
not
is
playing
ridiculous.
that. Not playing that. Let's call a spade a spade. We're not playing Rinat at minus 350. I'm just not. The question is, Dalby going to Dalby? Is he gonna all of a sudden you're gonna have a bet on Rinat, and in the second round, here comes Dalby.
Yeah.
with his weird breathing and his cage control, and now you're terrified. I don't want to be honest. I think this fight goes to decision. I really like that as a piece. The over 2.5 is -230. I think that's great as a parlay piece. I don't see Dalby getting finished. He's hard to finish. I also don't see Dalby finishing anybody.
Yeah.
Like if Dalby does come back to win this thing, I don't think it's going to be by finish. It's going to be by a split decision that's razor thin.
Yeah, I could see that. I thought it was interesting that Rinat has been doing grappling. I don't know if it's just because they keep busy or they want to practice their skills or if they, are working on something in particular. I don't know, but I thought that was kind of interesting that, Craig Jones and Douglas Lima. So maybe maybe we might see a little bit more with the grappling or anything. But yeah, again, this card kind of sucks. It's a great time to just say, guys, be careful with your money. Be careful with your bankroll here. Here's another one. Muhammad Naimov and Felipe Lima coming to you again, Jim. What are we doing with this thing besides staying away?
Andy's going to give me first shot on all these, and he's going to go first on the main event.
I'll take Whittaker.
I'm doing nothing with this fight. Here's why. These guys on short notice coming in and getting a fight have looked good. They've put up a good fight. And then in their next fight, they get walloped. It just makes no sense. I don't know if it's a pressure thing or what. This guy Lima is talked about very highly. This guy wasn't even on my radar. So I'm kind of glad that I got a chance to look at him now, knowing that he was on everybody's radar for getting into the UFC. But I can't with the short notice. I can't, not only with the short notice, but overseas. Lots of travel. That's more than just taking a short notice in Ohio. Where you got an hour and a half flight from wherever you are. We're overseas now. It's a lot of travel. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you got to sit on a 10-hour flight and think about this the whole way and try to get your weight down, and you're just nerves. Not into it. To me, this is going to be a live bet. We're going to watch this live if we can and see if we can find somebody fading. Again, I go back to it. I want to know the conditions in this arena, especially with somebody coming in on short notice. Skill-wise, yeah, Naimov should win. He's the UFC fighter. But these guys, in their debuts on short notice, have made a lot of people sweat this year. And I'm not jumping in front of that train.
I will just be looking at Naimov's shorts and how they're too big for his frame and how nobody's said anything to him. But yeah, I have nothing to add to it. It's not a great fight. It's kind of a stay away. Nasrat, Haqparast, and Jared Gordon. Here's another one. Over? I guess fight to go the distance as a parlay piece. I don't see who's finishing who in this one. I lean Haqparast just because I think he's just going to do a little bit more on the feet. I think Jared Gordon is just a little bit too low on the volume, and I could see a situation where it's Haqparast squeaking out some of these rounds. I don't want to put it past Gordon to pull it out. I know people are upset about the Paddy Pimblett thing, and I'm not going robbery on that one. Bobby Green, the clash of heads, and then he knocks out Mark Madsen, who was due to get knocked out. So I just think Haqparast kind of is pretty confident with who he is. He did what he was supposed to do, which is knock out Jamie Malarkey. Quinones put on a really good performance against him. I thought Haqparast kind of handled it pretty good. Pretty good solid scrap with John McDessie, actually. It wasn't, nobody was in danger of getting knocked out, but he's showing he can take guys the distance. Has plenty of cardio to go into the third round. I think it's pretty close. I think it goes the distance, and it's probably Haqparast if you wanted to. Haqparast by decision. He knocked out Jamie Malarkey. If I dropped the glass near Jamie Malarkey, he'd go down. But I can't do much with this fight though from a betting perspective. If I had to, it's Haqparast. But again, I'm just not getting to the window. What do you think?
This fight's all going to be about Nasrat's footwork. If he can have proper footwork and keep Gordon guessing, going left, going right. If he circles in one direction, Gordon's going to cut off the cage and be able to get inside on him and implement his wrestling. If he can keep him guessing, this is going to look like a really easy Haqparast decision. Maybe a late round finish if he can hit Gordon clean. We have seen Gordon clipped. I do think it's going to be Haqparast by decision. I don't know if Jared Gordon in the big cage is going to be able to have the space, the timing, and the quickness to get inside on Nasrat's leg. I know he's been taken down before. I know he was taken down by Dan Hooker. I understand that's everybody's worry, but we got to remember how big Dan Hooker is. He's not Jared Gordon. Haqparast has a size advantage in this fight. It's very different. Again, no wrestling with Bobby Green. Losing to Bobby Green by decision, no shame in that at all. Dan Hooker by decision, no shame in that at all. The John McDessie fight was great. That was what we've seen from him in 3 fights is a very reserved, skillful performance. And if he can do that again, I think he's going to work Jared Gordon for 3 rounds. No bet for me yet. I do think this fight goes the distance.
Plus 120 on Haqparast to go.
It's not bad.
It's not. There's way worse bets on this card than that one. So, if you guys could do us a favor here real quick, hit the like button and leave us a comment below. Really helps the algorithm out. Love hearing what you guys are on, if you agree or disagree. So, but please just hit the like button. Take 1 minute. 1 minute, not even just 1 second out of your day, and do that. Hit the click. All right, now we're getting to some fights that get a little bit more interesting. Johnny Walker, Volkan, Oezdemir. I'll let you go first on this one. You like your Johnny Walker on the rocks here, or you think Oezdemir is the way to go?
I'm hoping Johnny Walker doesn't get rocked. That's what I'm worried about, because we know what happens when Johnny Walker gets rocked. I like what I've seen from Johnny Walker recently. He's not been as hittable. Not the best. That Magomed and Ankalaev fight, I think we kind of all knew where that was going.
Writing was on the wall.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall, and I think that's just a big skill disparity. Say what you want about Ankalaev, but he has the perfect skill set to beat Johnny Walker. He just does. Controlled, not going to overexert himself, not going to get hit with the big shot, can implement wrestling, and you saw it coming. The Anthony Smith decision, that was a weird fight. But look, he still didn't get knocked out. Oezdemir, never been super high on Oezdemir. However, we had plenty of times where we made money on Volkan Oezdemir. That Bogdan Guskov bet, that was beautiful. That was a regret one. 12% play. Should have been.
I bet a lot on that fight, and it wasn't nearly enough. Yeah, that's sniffed out.
Not enough at all. The Paul Craig win, that was another good one. The loss to Krylov, that was a surprise. Not really high on Krylov. I don't know what to do with this fight, man, because you don't know what kind of Johnny Walker you're going to get. Are you going to get the Johnny Walker who goes to decision, or is he going to try something wacky? If he tries something wacky and it doesn't work, Volkan can most certainly put him out. So I don't know where I can get on this fight. I've been looking at this one all week saying there has to be something there. And when you got to look at a fight for this long, guys, it's time to just move on. There's plenty of other matchups on the board. We'll just move on from this one. I would lean for the purpose, just because of the size and the athleticism, I think Walker could catch him. But no bet for me.
Shara Magomedov and, Antonio Trocoli. My God, we didn't hear from him forever, and now it's like every month now we're hearing, oh no, you're fighting. Nope, you're fighting this guy. Nope, you're gonna fight this guy. Is he seriously? Is he under contract and they just now realized it and they were like, hey, this guy owes us a couple fights. Get his ass on the horn. You are fighting. So Magomedov. I thought he was. I actually thought sneakily he might have struggled with the guy who was with Luderbach. Magomedov, a wrestler, wasn't a great matchup for him. I guess Trocoli. I don't know. I can't bet on Trocoli, but I will say if Trocoli wants to try and get the takedown, Magomedov's takedown defense is not good. However, Magomedov's kicks are. They're good, man. I thoroughly enjoyed watching his UFC debut. I was like, I knew he was going to kick a lot. I didn't know he was going to kick that much against Bruno Silva. I mean, it was like body, leg, and then a punch. Yeah, it was a complete reversal of what you normally see. So Magomedov is the pick mostly because Trocoli just has not been active at all. Like, what's he been doing? But I will say, I don't know if Trocoli's been working on his takedowns. It would surprise me if he got Magomed down on the ground. I don't know if he can do anything with it. But don't be surprised if Trocoli gets a takedown early on. But again, does he have the cardio? Does he have the skill? I don't know. Probably not. I just know Magomedov will not be in my parlays.
Correct. We know who the UFC wants to push in this spot. It's not Anton Trocoli. Okay? We all know that. However, again, I want to know the condition of this arena. Because if Magomedov gets tired and that big body of Trocoli lands on top, he's going to be in big trouble. Big trouble. And it's going to be one sweaty parlay leg, one sweaty, juicy favorite that you have that you are just freaking out about in the third round and late in the second round and not know who they give the fight to. He should have a massive speed advantage against Trocoli. So I think that's where he can make his bones in this fight. Use those kicks from the outside. Use your speed. Don't overexert yourself with the volume and save some of that gas in case you get taken down. So if he looks like he's coming out firing, if this fight makes it to round 2, it's going to be real interesting. I would say watch the cardio in this fight, and whoever you see starting to fade in whatever realm this fight takes place in, you might be able to snipe a really good live line in this. But as far as a pre-fight bet, no way in the world I'm going anywhere near this fight. No way.
All right. I can't wait to talk about Kelvin Gastelum and Daniel Rodriguez. You get to go first. I gave you some horrible fights to go first. So the first is give the background of, I mean, just the weight situation. What's going on with Gastelum and Rodriguez right now?
Gastelum's not even close, man. He's not even close. He's a whole weight class above, and he still had to cut to that weight. So what did he come at? 184, I believe?
Well, so it's supposed to be at 170.
Yeah. So he's 14 pounds over the agreed weight. And they're just, Rodriguez is leaning into it, pissing and moaning back and forth about it, giving him garb. I don't know why the UFC loves Kelvin Gastelum. The amount of drama that this guy has brought to the UFC, they still keep him around. There's got to be a reason. That being said, if this was both of them healthy, I love Kelvin Gastelum over Daniel Rodriguez. I think Daniel Rodriguez is one of the most overrated fighters on the roster. He's old. He's not diverse. His striking is basic. Man got knocked out by Ian Gary, who hasn't been finishing anybody with vigor recently. Probably not going to get a finish in his next fight against MVP because he's not going to be able to touch him. Rodriguez is a sell for me. He's interested in his weed business. He's got a nice new brand new shiny pair of veneers, which you know I'm not a fan of when you're a cage fighter, when you get your teeth fixed while you're still in your fighting career. Just not impressed, man. The loss to Neil Magny, that was a smash spot. Just not good. Li Jingliang, that was a weird situation. If I remember correctly, the Lee fight, that was razor close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was close, and that's not great for Daniel Rodriguez.
No, most
terrible,
certainly
actually.
not. Beats Kevin Lee, who's since retired. Preston Parsons. Mike Perry, who's in bare knuckle, loses to Dalby. So I can't bet on this guy. I just can't. I think he's all fluff and no go. So if Gastelum is anywhere near 100%, I think he wins this fight. He probably wins this fight by decision or submission if he wants to use the wrestling. This would be the time for Kelvin Gastelum to wrestle. So let's sure hope they've been working on it, because I think that's how he wins this fight.
Yeah, so Gastelum didn't even try. I don't know how you go from the fight's supposed to be at 170 to, let's make it 185. I've never, if it's happened before, I can't remember. So Gastelum, I mean, look at these guys he's losing to. Jerry Cannonier, Robert Whittaker, Jack Manson, Darren Till, Izzy. I mean, these are the best of the best. He takes some time off, comes back, has that really awesome fight with Chris Curtis, looked great. And then I mean, he gets dominated by Sean Brady, but Sean Brady is completely different from D-Rod. Like, they're not even comparable. So Brady takes him down, wrestles him, eventually gets the Kimura. But I like Gastelum as well. Daniel Rodriguez put out a video where he was eating a cheeseburger and fries last night and a Coke. It feels like he's probably thrown in the towel. He's probably getting a massive chunk from Kelvin Gastelum and the UFC. So I'm not really sure what his motivation is. It's kind of a circus. I kind of like Gastelum even more. Like when Daniel Rodriguez is having to try and put on weight the day before, to me that sounds almost even harder. Like he's not rehydrating; he's trying to put on burger weight. So for me, it's Gastelum. I liked him before pre-flop, but I think I kind of like him now. It's really, really embarrassing from Gastelum. But hey, we're here to make money. If we can take advantage of it, I'll take Gastelum.
Like Rodriguez had the mental edge with Gastelum needing the change. And now if I'm Gastelum and I see this other, it's like, oh, so you think this is going to be easy? Okay. You really drinking a Coke? You having sugar water?
A soda the night before? That'll zap your cardio, man. So
good luck with that. Good luck with that. I mean, even if your opponent misses weight, you still got to act like a pro and do the things that you have to do. You still have a cage fight.
And okay, even if Gastelum is like overweight, is D-Rod the one to push this cardio?
I don't think so.
No, so. All right, Pavlovich and Volkov. I still cannot get over that under 1.5 is less than minus 200 on this. That's kind of the only way that I would play it, but I don't know, man. We see some of these fights where the under 1.5 is minus 250, minus 300. How is a Pavlovich fight not super, super juiced under 1.5? This guy's never been out of the first round in the UFC. You know what he's going to do. He's going to walk across the ring and try and hit Volkov in the chin, in the face, and the side of the head as hard as possible. He doesn't set up shots like he kind of does, but there's no awesome movement. This isn't Muhammad Ali's footwork. It's just pure unadulterated power. So on the flip side, you got Volkov, who, if he gets clipped, night. But if he can get his arms around Pavlovich and gets him down on the ground, it's Volkov. Like in a heartbeat, I think he grounds and pounds him where it gets some kind of submission. I think just because it's a Pavlovich fight, it's just going to lend itself to in close quarters and trying to knock the other guy's head off or get on the ground. And I don't think this makes it to round 2, to be honest. I don't even care who wins. Just give me the under. What do you think?
I agree with you on the under. I don't think that Pavlovich has the ability to change the way that he fights. And why would he? He was on a tear till he ran up against the champion, Aspinall. I've never been a fan of Pavlovich. I've thought he was a fraud from day one. Not impressed with the level that he's beaten. Even that knockout of Derek Lewis. Lewis protested that knockout. Now, granted, he did get clipped, but look, we've seen Derek throw in the towel real easy in a couple fights. It's not that big of an accomplishment. He's either going to knock you out or you're going to knock him out. We've seen Volkov fight these athletic power punchers. And I think that this version of Alexander Volkov that we've seen, especially after the Tuivasa fight, is a veteran Alexander Volkov. He's made adjustments throughout his career to change his body type, to change his striking style, to be more cardio in fights. We see him look different. These guys have trained together before. I love Volkov leaning into the questioning, too. I mean, that was just great. What do you remember from training? I don't know. I just woke up in the locker room. Okay. He's just leaning into it.
It was funny.
A subtle jab at the power of Pavlovich,
Yeah.
I can't get on Pavlovich. I can't. This Alexander Volkov by finish at plus 300 has been staring me in the face all week. You're going to give me plus 300 with the guy with the more skills in a Sergei Pavlovich fight. This is Tom Aspinall fight all over again. This is why I bet Tom by finish in that fight, because Pavlovich fights to the under. He just does. And we don't know what he's going to look like in round 2.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
I like
true.
Volkov in this spot. The more and more this week I like Volkov. He could get clipped. But, yeah, that plus 300 is tasty. We'll see if I get there.
All right, last fight, Whittaker and Aliskerov. Once again, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. Leave us a comment. Whittaker and Aliskerov, I'll make it quick. I just think this is just way too big of an ask for Aliskerov to change from a 3-round to a 5-round fight in this situation. Robert Whittaker, I just think this is going to be a very veteran performance where he just avoids the trouble in rounds 1 and 2, probably works from the outside, just avoids Aliskerov's big shots. I think Aliskerov starts to tire in round 3, and then Whittaker pulls ahead. I would not be surprised if Whittaker, if he has the energy to get a finish in round 4 or 5, just because I think this is too much for Aliskerov. Just the whole setup is just bad for him. I'm sure he's making a big bag to jump up and do this. But, I mean, let's be honest here about Aliskerov before we anoint him, the next big thing. Like, Phil Hawes, Warley Alves is not exactly a murderer's row. Okay, he looked great, but is it okay if I don't think he's a title contender at this point? Is it all right if I just want to see a little bit more? Maybe I'll look dumb if he does take care of Whittaker. But Whittaker, professional performance against Costa. I think we both said Costa looked way better than we expected. Loses Duplessis, champ, fine. Marvin Vittori, okay, decision win. Loses to Adesanya, takes out Gastelum, Cannonier, Till. So his last 3 losses are to champs. Izzy and Duplessis, and I don't see how Aliskerov takes him out. I know Whittaker has been around the block, but there's no way I see Aliskerov winning unless it's round 1 or 2, something really weird. I don't see how he wins later in the rounds when Whittaker's been training for this and Aliskerov has not. What's your take?
This fight line makes no sense to me at all. Makes absolutely no sense. Robert Whittaker at minus 155. The only reason I could think that it's that is that Rob gets clipped in every fight. Even the ones he wins, he gets clipped. Now, he's one of the best in history at fighting through it because he does most of the time.
He's used to it.
He just can recover and can get back in the fight. But why is it 155? I don't get it. The deck is stacked against Ikram. How is Whittaker not even close to over? He's not even over minus 200.
I'm stunned by it too. I don't get it either. I don't get it either.
And that scares me. It scares the heck out of me. Because why? They've had 2 weeks to bet this fight, and he's still 155. So I think Whittaker just out-veterans him, just like you said. Whittaker's going to know how to deal with the championship rounds. He looked absolutely amazing in weigh-ins and in ceremonial weigh-ins. The man is in shape. He was training for this date against, let's face it, an opponent who's a little similar to Ikram, okay? Big power on the feet, not really refined striking, but big power and can wrestle. Yeah. Well, how does Robert Whittaker do against wrestlers? Pretty good. Pretty good. Most of his fights take place on the feet. So if this gets to round 2, I think Whittaker's going to pull away in 3, 4, 5. And we'll probably have a unanimous decision for Robert Whittaker.
Yeah, I would love to take Whittaker by decision, but like I said, I could see Aliskerov just it's too much in rounds 4 or 5. But who knows? Maybe Whittaker's a little bit tired by then, like you said. Don't know what it's like in the arena there. But I guess, honestly, guys, the big takeaway for this one is just be a little bit careful. If you can go 1-0 on this card, I think you're happy with that. You take your profits and you run. If you go 2-0, hats off to you. Congratulations, because I think there's a lot of potential fights here that can trip people up. So exercise caution on this one. It's worked for us on some of these cards. We've been good in UFC saying, hey, these are cards to jump all over, and these are cards to kind of pull back a little bit, and maybe this isn't the week to go big on the bankroll. So, we could do a little recap here. Long Xiao, Chang Ho Lee, nothing.
Pass.
Magomed and Brendson Ribeiro, nothing. Gafurov and Kang, that one we do like the underdog quite a bit. Fakhretdinov and Dalby, over maybe, I don't know. Naimov and Lima, nothing. Haqparast by decision at plus 120 is intriguing against Jared Gordon. Johnny Walker and Oezdemir. Did we even decide on a bet we like?
I think I like Walker. You kind of liked Oezdemir, right?
Not confidently.
Not even enough? Yeah.
No, not even
I kind of
enough to
like Walker.
plant
but
my
it's
flag
not,
on anything.
It's not making my card. No, it's not.
I have the Magomedov and Trocoli, where everyone has Magomedov in their parlays. And in round 3, when Trocoli is laying on top of him and you're sweating out a greasy decision. Gastelum I do like over Danny Rodriguez. I'm still wrapping my head around how Gastelum got him to move a fight 15 pounds, and Rodriguez is eating cheeseburgers in the hotel the night before. Pavlovich and Volkov, I will like the under 1.5 for sure on that one. And Whittaker, Aliskerov, yeah, like Whittaker. Like Whittaker on that one. So, but again, like you said, the line on the Whittaker is just
Strange.
Are they tricking us? Are they tricking us? Why? Like, why are some of these other guys so much more favorites? You know,
I haven't heard a lot of love on Ikram, and I've heard the same thing that we just said about Whittaker, and it's still not over minus 2.
Yeah. The line is telling you a story on that one. So, all right, guys, that is going to do it for us. Good luck on all your plays. If ever there was a week to practice good bankroll management, this is it. So, have a great night, and we will see everyone on the next breakdown video. Might be probably next week's UFC. So, good luck in your plays, and we'll see everybody then.
Good luck. See you next week.